I'm going to show you how to cut down your larger piece of PETG plate into smaller pieces that will be used for monotype printing and then for dry point plate printing. And I have a 3-pack of 12-inch by 16-inch clear plates, clear printing plates, and it's 0.030 inches thick. And we'll be using one sheet to roll out our inks, and the second sheet we'll be using then to cut down smaller plates. The third sheet can be used very nicely for taking photographs of your work by laying the plate on top of it if, for instance, you have any sort of paper curl, so that you can get an even image of your work. The size of the plate will be determined by the size of the press that you're using. So those of you with costume maker presses will potentially need to use 3x5 inch plates. Those of you who have the Sizzix Big Shop, the 4x6 inch plate will work very well. And this press bed here is 6 inches wide. So the 4-inch plate will allow a 1-inch margin on either side for the printing paper. So we have 2 plates that are already cut, and these plates are 12 inches by 16 inches, so I can get 2 6-inch plates on the 12-inch dimension. And when I'm cutting the plates, the tools I'm going to be using are a metal ruler with a non-slip backing, and a utility knife. I prefer to use utility knives for cutting rather than X-Acto knives because the blades are a little bit more stable. Lastly, I'm going to be using a self-healing cutting mat, and if you don't have a self-healing cutting mat, the back of a sketchbook works terrifically, so any sort of compressed cardboard. With the self-healing cutting mat, the corner is the 0 mark, and it's divided then by inches along both the height and the width of the mat. And those of you who are not using a self-healing cutting mat with the ruler built into the cutting surface will want to measure ahead of time and then mark the portion or the width you want to cut using a Sharpie at the different marks. So I would measure here 4 inches, move down a little bit, 4 inches here, put a small mark, and then do the same going in the opposite direction. And I'm going to stand up to cut to get a little bit more leverage. And one of the ways I like to cut is by keeping the ruler over the portion of the plate I want to keep. In case my knife slips at all, it's going to allow me to save the surface and have the knife slip into the non-image area surface. So I extend the blade a little bit beyond the edge of the knife. I like to go no more than 1.5 segments beyond the edge for stability. And using firm pressure down on the ruler, I'm going to begin scoring the plate with moderate pressure. So I want the sharpness of the blade to be what cuts through the plate as opposed to the force of the blade. With thicker materials, even thicker papers, generally you want to score several times to cut all the way through the surface. And I'll check to see if it's cut all the way through. So it's still attached a little bit up here at the top. So at this point now I can slide the whole package down and make sure my ruler is lined up and finish cutting through to the other side. So now I have a 12-inch long piece by 4 inches tall, and I'll do the same procedure now to cut this in half. So now we have 4 plates that are 4 by 6 inches tall, and we will be using 3 of these for monotype printing, cyan, magenta, and yellow.